Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Chaotic Wholesome Talk Show. I am one of your co-hosts, Kate Purcell. I'm here with two incredible folks today. Right over here, over here, we have David. David, tell us who you are and what you're doing and why you're doing a happy dance today.
I do not know why the dancing is happening, but hi, I'm David. Welcome to the Chaotic Wholesome Talk Show, where every week, most weeks, we talk about TTRPG stuff, how to be a better player, how to be a better GM, what cool stuff is happening in the space, all with a focus on intersectionality, so that everybody can have a good time.
And hey! Over here, haha, I got it right this time. Over here, we have the incredible GamerMomLuna, aka Luna, who I had the great pleasure to meet in person recently at PAX Unplugged, but we'll get to that. Luna, tell us who you are and what the heck you get up to.
I'm Luna, and I get up to about 5'6".
Still taller than me.
Hot.
I am a TTRPG enthusiast. I am the creator and former host of Tales from the Tavern, which was about a 3-year-long stream that ran over on my Twitch that just ended in October. And I am one of the writers on Shadowmain.com, which I know we're going to talk about in a little bit. So we'll get into that then. But yeah, that's kind of what I do. And then I also play charity streams a lot. So yeah,
we're going to talk about that too, because we got lots of charity streams to talk about. David and I are running a one-shot coming up this Thursday, the Christmas Cookie Caper, which I am so excited to run. Woke up this morning and almost immediately started crying because I woke up to our donation goal already having been met by one generous donor before the game was anywhere near live.
That's amazing.
But we're going to try and smash that goal again. Luna, tell us about your game and the incredible Matt that you'll be playing with.
Yeah. So I am going to be playing, it's a D&D 5e game over on Mimics and Misfits, where Matt will be GMing, and we're raising money for World Central Kitchen, which, if people are not familiar with World Central Kitchen, they are a nonprofit that basically travels the globe whenever there's any type of humanitarian crisis, tornadoes, floods, hurricanes, war. They've been in a lot of people heard about them from Ukraine. They were working a lot with Ukrainian refugees, and they provide meals, and not just like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich wrapped up in plastic wrap and here's a bottle of water, but like a full-blown like chef cooked meal, so that people can still get healthy, delicious, nutritious food while they're in the midst of something pretty horrible. So yeah, that's who we're raising money for. It's going to be a really awesome event. We are playing Saturday night. I think we're starting at 6:30 Eastern time. And yeah, we're doing that over on twitch.tv/Mimics and Misfits.
And I know I put you on the spot earlier. I'm putting you on the spot again. Who else is playing with you? It's you and
Lord.
Matt.
So Matt is DMing, and then Star Shinobi is one of the players. Star is playing a gnome barbarian named Ginger Snap.
Oh, and, I love that.
Let's see. Much. I am playing a halfling ranger named Tinsel Strider. And then let's see, we have Julian from Everyday Superheroes is going to be part of it. And let's see who else is involved. Cam from Full Round Action Gaming is involved. Let's see who else. There's a lot of us.
Charity tables tend to be big.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players. So yeah, should be a good time.
Excellent. Well, I know what I'm doing Saturday. Right. As I said, David and I are going to be doing the Christmas Cookie Caper for Extra Life. That's going to be Candace the Magnificent and David Tilstra. Candace was in Godplane. Both of them were in Waterdeep Tales with the incredible Saucefire, who is not lurking today, but often shows up. Holly Conrad, Lamar the Con Guy, Matt Joro, aka Dungeon Glitch, and Calamity, simply Calamity. It's going to be a chaotic good time. It is a caper, a heist game that is going to be highly satirical. David did some good work, so I can't wait to show off what he built for y'all.
That sounds like a really, really fun table.
I'm hoping. We were telling everyone as they're preparing, and they're like, "Oh, well, what's team synergy?" I'm like, "Don't worry about combat. Like, yes, there's going to be combat, but this is about." Oh, what did I? I was incredibly clever for like 0.0 seconds when I typed this out. I said, "This is going to be a table made of adventure, snark, and fun."
Nice.
But yes, so Tales from the Tavern. I was lucky enough to guest on Tales from the Tavern twice, I think.
Twice, yeah.
I feel like I might have gotten a third, but maybe not. Maybe it was just.
I remember twice, definitely.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'd have to go back. I'd have to search the logs.
No. I'm pretty sure I got on twice. I never did drag David on there. An effort was made, though. So tell us, what was it like? Like, how did Tales from the Tavern start? And what was it like running that for basically 3 years?
Yeah.
And across multiple channels and...
Yeah. So Tales from the Tavern started on the first channel that I started streaming on. It was the second stream that I had ever done. The first one being a Pathfinder first edition game. And so it sort of was born out of wanting to get to know more people in the TTRPG community and kind of after getting to see people around on Twitter and kind of seeing like all the cool stuff that was out there, wanted to get a chance to kind of showcase some of that. Even, we didn't have a huge following, but like, hey, any platform is better than no platform, right? So, so getting a chance to kind of showcase that and get to meet people and kind of introduce people to other people and that sort of thing. So it started out that way, and it was me and one other host at the time, the guy who ran the channel. And then long story short, basically, he decided to shut the channel down for his own personal reasons. And so a bunch of us that were currently streaming on that channel then took our shows and started up a new channel. And we ran it there for about another year. And at that point, I had full control of the show. I was doing all the production work, all of the scheduling of guests. It was me and then 5 guests that were on the stream at any one time. So it was, it was a lot. It was a lot of scheduling. And then we also posted it to YouTube and in podcast form. So I did all the editing for that too. And then after about a year on that channel shut down again. Just had people that were like, I don't have time to run a Twitch channel anymore, that sort of thing. So I finally said, well, it's time to, let's just bring this back to my channel. Like, then I can do whatever I want and, kind of run it however I want to. So kept the same format, had my artist, redo some of the art just to line up with the, my logo and all of that stuff. And yeah, kept at it for another year after that. And then finally, I'm a single parent, have a teenager now, and life is hectic. And I was like, I need some of that time back in my day-to-day. Yeah. So took that off the air, but in the course of doing so, took the idea and kind of partnered with the Shadowmain website. So Jason, who runs Shadowmain, we talked about it and we said, we had already been talking about, I'd already been writing some stuff for the website anyway. And then one of the things that we'd been talking about doing is publishing like a weekly interview. And I said, well, what if we branded that interview as Tales from the Tavern so that the name is still kind of out there and it's a name that people recognize. So now every Wednesday we have a 5-question interview that gets published on the website, Tales from the Tavern, and then whoever it happens to be that week. So it's kind of fun because Jason did a lot of work coding actually the website so that people can go to the website, and if you go onto the website and you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you can actually click a link and you'll get 5 random interview questions. So it's kind of available for anybody that wants to fill it out. I mean, we're scheduled way out in advance right now with them, which is actually really cool. And if you get a question and you're like, I don't really have an answer for that one, there's actually a button that just says get new questions, and it will give you a whole new set of questions. So
That's really cool.
Go in and answer that. Yeah, that took a lot of work, and he did a really great job getting that up and running. So we did that, and then actually just yesterday we did a video recording, and we're sort of looking at maybe doing this more, but did an actual like video interview with somebody who wanted to talk about a streaming game that they have coming up in the future, and an Indiegogo that they're going to be running. And so we were going to do a regular text interview, and then we were like, well, it might be easier to do a video, and we'll kind of figure it out from there. So that'll be coming out sometime in January at this point.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so it's been kind of fun. I like the flexibility of being able to write for the website, because then I can kind of fit that in around what I already have going on. Because
if you're not feeling well on that Sunday night, if you're not feeling well on that Sunday night, you can give yourself that night off and make it up the next day.
Yeah, and the other thing that's nice too is, I don't feel like I'm not rushed to have to be somewhere. Like my Sunday, I don't feel like my Sunday ends at 4, anymore, because like, 4 o'clock, I got to get home, I got to make dinner, I got to, all of this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, I have that time back now that, if I'm out and about, I'm not like, oh, okay, what time is it? I can still continue doing whatever plans I have for that weekend. So, yeah.
And if you're like me, where, you have something scheduled at any point in the day, nothing else can happen.
Yes.
It's like, oh, I have an appointment at 5 p.m. Well, it's 8 a.m. Can't get anything done.
I have to stay home all day. I can't even do laundry now. So
I gotta like mentally prepare myself for doing this thing. So therefore,
yeah. Well, then the thing is too, with having 5 guests on, it would be the oh shoot, somebody dropped out 2 hours before. Do I take time and try to find a new 5th person? Do I just say to heck with it and run it with 4 and throw in my image of my little baby dragon in the 5th one? That happened more than once. So that kind of stuff would always get really stressful, and I was like, I don't have time for that anymore.
Yeah. Yes, we've had times with just one person guest where we're like, oops, that's not going to work. What do? With 5, that's it's like trying to schedule a short D&D game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it is. And then we'd have people like, there was one of the things that was nice is the longer I was around, sort of the bigger names I was able to draw in as guests. So I was really lucky back in February of this year. I was able to get Mark Meir as a guest.
Mm-hmm.
But he could only stay for the first hour. And I was like, I don't care. You can stay for 15 minutes. I just want you to be on my stream,
Good enough.
But it was, it was great. It was one of those like take what I can get,
Exactly.
So.
I got to meet Mark at PAX Unplugged last year. And that is a charming gentleman.
He is such a nice guy.
He is so. I was just like, he was running somewhere, and I'm like, I knew like it was obvious he was coming back from a bathroom break or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, I just want to say, like, I love Brother Uriah. Like, Brother Uriah is awesome.
Yeah.
And he's like, thank you. Can I take a picture with you? And I'm like, oh, that's a good line.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's, I'm gonna remember that.
Yeah, right. I see somebody in chat that asked if that was his favorite stream on the Citadel. It was, actually. I have a recording of that. So it would actually, when I would edit the stream down for YouTube after he was on, when I would edit the stream down for YouTube and podcast, it would always start off with, I'm Commander Shepard and Tales from the Tavern is my favorite stream on Twitch. And then at the very end, the very last thing you would hear is, I should go.
So, and Shadowmain, I was saying this before, just before the stream, Shadowmain posted a video today about Deck of Many Things and how Deck of Many Things is not as dangerous to a campaign as it was back in 1 and 2E. And I was laughing as I was, kind of had it on the background as I was making coffee, because those of you who don't know, for my game on Thursday, if you donate $100, I will do a pull from the deck of many things. So I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I'm getting myself into. This is going to be fun.
Good
If we get that death
times.
card. Also, I got this deck and it's so freaking pretty.
It is pretty.
I really, really like it.
I like that a lot.
So yeah, I'm so excited to hear about that partnership and that it seems to be going well. It's still early days.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been partnered up on the website for probably at least 6 months at this point.
I'm going to interrupt you real quick. Brian, Urban Bohemian, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, Raiders. I am Kay Purcell. I am a TTRPG performer, GM, and host. And I am here with GamerMomLuna and my co-GM, David Lee. And we are talking about Luna's new projects, which is Shadowmain. And give us a quick rundown of that again, since we just had, oh my goodness, 55 people hanging out. Thank you for the follows, Witchy Woman. And God, y'all, there's so much is going on.
I know. Welcome.
D&D Jordan Lee and Witchy Woman, thank you so much for the follows. Welcome on in. Sorry, go Luna.
No, it's all good. So shadowmain.com, SHADOMAIN is the website.com. And basically we publish TTRPG content 5 days a week. So usually Mondays is some kind of article about whatever, so this past Monday actually was our PAX Unplugged recap. Tuesdays is usually a video recommendation, more typically geared towards GMs, but anybody really can watch it. So like you mentioned, today's was about the deck of many things. Let's see. Then Wednesdays we do a Tales from the Tavern interview, which I was talking about a little bit ago. It's a quick, 5-question interview that, is getting people's kind of perspective on things in the TTRPG community. Some of the questions are serious, some are kind of silly, some can be, answered kind of however people want. Let's see what else. Thursdays we do another video recommendation. That one's usually more geared towards players. And then Friday is right now it's our campaign diaries. So usually it's an article about some game that either it's one that both of us played, or it might be about Jason's home game that he runs on Monday nights. I think the one coming up this Friday is going to be about Jason just ran. He and I just released a supplement a couple weeks ago called Sleigh Ride, SLAYRIDE, but it's all about rescuing Santa from the land of the ice golem. And it follows kind of the classic Christmas specials. So Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Frosty the Snowman and all of that stuff. And that's available actually for a $5 donation to Extra Life. You can get both the 5e and the Cypher versions. So if anybody's interested in that, feel free to hit me up on Twitter. There's also a link right on the website to get to that. And so it'll be, he just ran that actually at our local game store on Saturday, and so it'll be about kind of the experience of running that. So we're staying pretty busy.
And since we did just get a whole bunch of folks in, I want to make sure we promo our charity games again. Yes. David and I on Thursday are running the Christmas Cookie Caper. It's a holiday-themed D&D one-shot featuring Candace the Magnificent, David Tilstra, Holly Conrad, Lamar the Con Guy, Matt Juro, aka Dungeon Glitch, and Calamity. It's going to be a ridiculous, satirical good time. The sound redeems don't work right now, y'all. We're not on video games, so you're not going to get your sound redeems. I'm so sorry. Save your points. And that will be benefiting Extra Life. It's going to be on December 15th at 4 p.m. Pacific and 7 p.m. Eastern. I really hope y'all will come by. It's going to be really funny. I've already cried today because I woke up to someone who had already donated $1,000 towards our $1,000 goal. So we are going in. I am trying to, they wanted to donate anonymously, so I'm trying to figure out if there's anything, if I can chase them down at all so I can add something for them into the game, just as a nod. Luna, you have one coming Saturday.
Do, yes. On Saturday, doing a 5e game over on Mimics and Misfits, and we are raising money for World Central Kitchen. So that's me, Star Shinobi, Matt from Mimics and Misfits will be GMing. There's Cam from Full Round Action Gaming will be there, Julian of Everyday Superheroes. It's going to be a great time. We are playing characters. We actually joked. So I mentioned earlier, like I'm playing a halfling, Star Shinobi's playing a gnome. We actually do have enough halflings in the party that we could do the 3 halflings in a trench coat joke.
Yes.
Like,
Awesome.
because we have 3 halflings, a gnome, and a warforged who is made out of wood.
Excellent.
So
I love
we're like,
druidic
we've got to do
warforges
something
so
with this at
much.
some point.
Brennan Lee Mulligan's druidic warforged in that one level 20 one shot was just he had an oblong rock, so his head was like a Hey Arnold.
Yeah.
It was so cute.
Yeah.
But also, it's thank you so much again, Herb, for the raid, and it's fitting because we also want to talk about PAX Unplugged, which I finally got to meet Luna face to face there.
It was very exciting.
And I got to meet Herb. I got to meet Cypher of Tyr, who's hanging out in chat. I got to meet Saucefire, who's hanging out in chat. I did not get to meet JD, but y'all
So
are just
I actually have a funny
spamming the
story
not
about Cypher
working
of Tyr.
sound.
Can I share that for a second?
Please, please.
So she may or may not remember this, but I remember this because I didn't know who she was at the time. But Cypher of Tyr and I actually met at PAX East like many years ago. I don't even remember how many years ago. It was back when BioWare was still doing their BioWare bases, and we ended up standing in line next to each other in line to get into the BioWare base, and we were just chatting, like just whatever, talking about BioWare, talking about video games, talking about whatever, and I had no idea who she was, like, because I wasn't into, like, I didn't know anything about streaming, I didn't know anything about, like, I was a baby gamer at that point. I mean, this easily was like maybe 8 years ago. Like, it was a long time ago. I've been to a lot of PAX Easts, since then. But yeah. And it was like, it was like 2 or 3 years later when I figured out who she was, and I was like, oh my God. So yeah, that was my funny story.
I'm starstruck years later.
Yeah, it like took a few minutes, but oh yeah, that was a big deal.
I have a similar story with Liam O'Brien.
Yes.
Of all people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. You live in the right places or you go to the right conventions, and you tend to get these stories. But yes, what was your favorite part of PAX Luna? What did you get to do that was exciting?
I got to meet people.
That's
honestly, I spent a lot of my time just meeting people from the TTRPG community, and that I think by far was my favorite thing. Had a huge dinner with a bunch of people Thursday night, had a huge dinner with a bunch of people Saturday night, had Japanese barbecue for the first time. That was a good time. Let's see.
Joshua, welcome.
Yeah, it was really fun. Just getting to hang out and spend time like really getting to know people and talking about games and seeing what other games people were interested in, and all of that good stuff. I think that was definitely my favorite piece. What about you?
When I really fell heavily into streaming, I stumbled into Shakar, which is an awesome actual play by that bronze girl with Gabe Hicks, Xander, and Lord Balvin, and now Persephone Roth. It was someone else at the time, and she's completely adorable, but her name has completely escaped me. But watch her on Beyond the Beyond. It's wonderful. And I had actually made, as of PAX last year, I make liquid core dice, and I had made liquid core dice for everyone, all the characters. But I didn't know Balvin was going to be there, so I didn't bring Balvin's dice. I got to give Bronze and Gabe their dice. But this year, I got to see Balvin and give him, and Balvin's character is this long-suffering fighter half-orc who just life just beats the shit out of him constantly. And he's just like, yep, this is how it is. But like for a while they had Nim, who was this little tiefling boy that he was like a second dad to, and just really good-hearted. So his dice was black, the inking, it was clear dice, it was black and green ink, and when you rolled it, it filled with gold because his gold heart. And I finally got to give that to Lord Balvin. And for those who don't know, Shakar was Balvin's first time playing TTRPGs. He had never, like, they bought him dice so he could roll them for that game.
That's awesome.
So that just, I welcoming people into the community makes me really, really happy. And people sharing their first TTRPG experience, you know, with people on stream is very brave. And it made me really happy to get to celebrate that. I also, like, I got to meet so many people, but I got to meet people that I have told really incredible, moving stories with that, like, moved me. So, you know, I got to meet Gabe and Candace and Saucefire and David Tilstra, and people that I told Godplane with, and I got to play in Waterdeep Tales with. And, you know, there were only some tears, just some tears.
Just a few.
Just a few.
Also, for anyone who doesn't know, Kay makes top tier dice. I keep trying to convince her to make some for sale. But if you ever play in a game with me and a roll does not go your way, it was Kay's dice. Blame her.
My fault.
My D20 decider.
He got a giant chunk like this one. So, like, but yes, did you? So I know you were. It's super sad you didn't get to do your Tales from the Tavern panel, which I was going to carve out space for.
It made the wait list. It wasn't a straight out no.
Right.
But yeah, it made the wait list. So it was kind of like that, almost on pins and needles, like right up until we left. And I was like, if they haven't contacted me by now, probably not going to.
That's rough.
But, you know, thankfully everybody that was going to be on the panel, like, was going to be there anyway. So it wasn't anybody was planning a special trip or anything like that. Right. So even if it had been a last minute addition, it, you know, it wouldn't have been a huge issue unless it was piggyback. There was, you know, Duval King Jacob was going to be on the panel if it had been. So, you know, if it had been at the same time as another one that he was involved in, because he was in a couple of panels. So that would have been the only issue that we really would have run into. But yeah, other than that, but that's okay. It was kind of one of those things that I'm like, we'll see what happens. Like, I'll throw it out as an idea, and if it works, great. And if it doesn't, no big loss, you know. I'm going to go anyway. So
yeah, I really enjoy those shoot your shot moments.
Yeah.
And the more I have learned in this space, like, if you shoot your shot, the worst that happens is you get a no or just like a cricket noise. Yeah. And that is so much better than just being like, I wonder what would have happened if I had done this thing.
Yeah, definitely.
One thing that I found particularly interesting is so Kay is ultimately in charge of all of our casting, but we do a lot of talking. Like, you know, like when we did Godplane, both times it was, okay, who do we want for this? And we'd go, okay, we want these people, and luckily, you know, every time they've all said yes. But there have been times where we've been like, I don't know, should we reach out to like this big name? And we go, well, why not? And then Kay will reach out. That person will go, hey, I'm really interested in doing this. You know, I have a scheduling conflict, or I'm doing this other thing, but yes, I'm interested. And it is really remarkable how accessible people can be, because we've contacted people and they've gone, oh my God, I have been looking to play a game for like 3 months now. No one has said anything. I don't know what's wrong. Does no one want to see? And it's like, well, you're a big name in the community. Everybody's like, well, you're too big of a deal to play with.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, those shoot your shot moments are how I ended up being able to get like Mark Meir to come on my stream and B Dave Walters to come on my stream. And, you know, cause I'm like, my stream is tiny. Like, it's not like I was drawing in a huge number of viewers every week. I mean, it was huge for me. I was drawing anywhere between 20 and 40 depending on the week. That was pretty big for me.
It's impressive, yeah.
But it was literally just like the start of the year. I put out like here's my goal list of people that I would love to have come on Tales from the Tavern, and a couple of them responded, and awesome. I was able to get a couple of YouTubers that came on, Jordan, who has his own show, Jordan with a PH in the middle. And then a few other people that that again, kind of like we said, like just cricket noises, and that's fine. Like, everybody's busy. I get that. So
as we say every time we talk about this, shoot your shot, be polite, but remember that no one owes you their time. Exactly. No matter how cool your thing is, no matter no one owes you their time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll tell everyone we play with, on camera, off camera, after the show ends, I'm incredibly grateful because, I get to just sit and write stuff, and then people take it and then go make it awesome. And then I get a little bit of credit for that. But I'm just really especially for the charity stuff that Kay and I do. I'm really, really grateful at all of the people, even graphic designs, Cozy Spoon is in chat, and she's done art for us. Jason, who is sometimes in chat, has done a ton of graphics work for us, all donated for these causes, and I'm both blown away and really happy that I get to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And for anyone who, I'm just going to say in chat, we've got Cypher Tier hanging out and says, I hate the whole "you're too big to play with" thing. I know that, and let me be clear, I'm not a big name. I've been fortunate enough to get to play with a couple of my favorite people in the space. I personally am not a big name. I don't even think 2,000 followers on Twitter. I'm not a big name. But I've had people be like, oh, but I can't ask you. You work in video games. I can't, why would you? And I'm like, well, and if that's happening to me, I can't imagine people. Saucefire says, I tell people I know the K-damn fear. Well, Sauce, your scale is just different. You are close personal friends with so many people from AC Inc. and all these different things. Anyone Sauce has met is his close personal friend.
Yeah, Sauce does have that kind of energy.
I love that.
But anything. Okay, so Sauce and I this was Saucefire's first PAX Unplugged. This was Candace is not hanging out in chat, I don't think. She might have a game. They might have a game today. I have to check. But this was their first PAX Unplugged, and I've been to a couple. This is my second PAX Unplugged, but I've done a lot of conventions. So if anyone is getting excited or looking at going to PAX Unplugs in the future, do you have advice for surviving a PAX or a convention as a whole?
Oh my goodness. I feel like it totally depends on what the convention is. So this was my first PAX Unplugged also. But like I mentioned, I go to PAX East every year because it's an hour and a half south of where I live. So it's, I hit that one up a lot. I feel like, it's just, that's a big convention. I mean, the building itself holds 45,000 people at one time. PAX Unplugged, for anybody who didn't know, this year was actually hosting, the building that it was in was hosting another convention, a teaching convention.
Yikes.
I walked into that and I'm like, why is no one wearing a mask? Why does everyone look like the wrong kind of nerd?
Yeah.
I'm in the wrong convention.
Yeah. So so I think I think, Mike, I'm looking at some of the stuff that's coming up in chat, and, some people are saying eat, realize you don't have to see everything, let's see, don't overbook yourself. Like, yeah, those are probably all things that I would say. Joshua Simon's taking early afternoon nap at cons. Like,
If I could nap, yes.
yeah.
Yeah, eating is very important. My biggest tip to surviving any convention, wear comfortable shoes.
Yes.
I don't care. Like, someone might be looking at your feet, but you're at a convention. Most people are going to be in like grubby, like hoodies and hungover from the party the night before.
Mm-hmm.
Wear comfortable shoes. Treat your feet right because
Yes.
you're going to be on them.
The rest of you, your back especially, will appreciate that. And also, if you can, bring a water bottle with you because drinks are expensive at conventions.
Yeah.
I don't know if I didn't make it up to the food court at PAX Unplugged, but like the little side like places that they had off the expo floor, a 20-ounce diet soda was $6.
Yikes.
Yeah.
That's like almost stadium pricing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a really cool artisanal soda company that had like 2 stands, and you could buy a mug, and for $7 you get unlimited refills.
Oh, perfect.
Throughout the whole convention. Every day you'd have to pay $7, but buying the mug was $44.
Yes, but the
for the
nice thing
cheap
is
one.
if you own one of their mugs already, you can just bring it.
You get it free the next year. Yes. But
so, yeah, sadly, I own 5 of their mugs already, so but
Rex
they weren't
says,
that expensive when I bought them. So
that's probably, yeah. Rex says, go with friends who'll keep an eye on you and check on your okay, especially if you're a person who, has anxiety or is, I'm always getting lost. I get lost everywhere. David has seen this. And the convention layout this year,
was weird.
And Kay and I have been to a number of events, and anyone who's ever played a video game with me knows that I cannot be trusted with an in-game map at all. And I've gotten my writing partner lost on the way to something more than once. Wow, I'm really bad at directions. But but more than once, Kay and I have been at an event, and we've been like, okay, we have to get to this place. And then Kay's like, okay, we should go this way. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe we should go that way. And we've both been wrong.
Yeah, we've somehow 50-50 chance, and we're both incorrect. I don't.
Yeah. This building, like especially with the added conventions in there, like it made it really confusing because like,
and it was really frustrating because they'd have like a great map of like this area, and then a great map of this area, and then a great map of the main hall, and no information on how to navigate from one to the other.
Yes. Yeah, like, oh, I have to go outside or I have to go upstairs and across. Like, what?
Yeah. If you want to make friends at a convention with anyone working a booth or any speakers or any, bring throat lozenges. Throat lozenges, especially like this was.
I saw that one in action.
Especially when I do, because I used to do E3s as a journalist. So by the end of an E3, I'd roll up to a press appointment and they'd be like, and I'd be like, lozenge. They're like,
yeah, I know. It was funny at the last day. I was sitting at a table with Andy Tilstra and a few other people, and Kay comes over, and Andy had no voice. I mean, his voice was shot. And Kay pulls out throat lozenge, and Andy's like, "Oh my god, yes."
Yeah, when I get to a convention, I have this wondrous. I don't even know if they sell these anymore. This is the NXT Nomad bag. David has seen this in action. This is a Mary Poppins bag.
Yep.
I can
Everything's
fit
in there.
so much in this bag, and it's small, which is why I like it. I roll up with 2 kinds of painkillers, ibuprofen caplets, Band-Aids, throat lozenges, in addition to all my other stuff. Because sooner or later, someone cuts themselves. Someone, has a really bad headache. Someone eats too much fried con food, and it catches up with them. And I'm like, I got you. Got you, fam. Yeah. So if you're ever at a convention and Kay is there and you need a thing, please come find me. Got you.
Kay will take care of you.
One thing that so I haven't been to a TTRPG convention yet. That is coming, but every convention I've been to, all have the same. Every multi-day convention all have the same thing in common. I buy a new pair of shoes before the event, wear them at the event, and throw them away the day after. I destroy a pair of shoes every time.
See, I can't wear new shoes. I have to have broken the shoes in a little bit, or else my feet will be like, excuse me, what is this? No.
Yeah.
I will punish you.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I took David to E3 and ran him ragged all over E3. It was a time.
It was a great time. I was also very, very drunk the night E3 wrapped. Very drunk.
That you hurt me. You hurt me that night. And then I hurt you with I made David watch. Have y'all ever heard of Generation X, the made for TV live action X-Men movie?
No.
No one should watch it. But you should definitely not watch it sober. It is one I have made 2 people in my life watch it, and those people were the right people to watch it. It is so delightfully terrible. It is so bad.
One of the worst films in existence.
Brian, if you've seen this,
Urba's
seen it. It is one of my favorites. Banshee's accent in that is just
it haunts me.
You might want to work with someone with a weaker mind just to keep your record perfect. It's like an Irish pirate. It's so bad.
Oh no.
It's terrible.
So we realized after E3, like it was like we're eating pad thai because I'm like, I need vegetables. We're doing vegetables and noodles. And he opened a handle of whiskey and we looked and the food was gone and that handle was half empty. And I was like, I think it's time for that. Because we hadn't slept in like 3 days because it was E3 we were running. And I'm like, I think it's time for this. As fewer, that Rex says I'm such a good / bad friend. There are very few people I wouldn't flick this on, but it's the right people.
Yep.
So David, you got to hear intermittent con stories from multiples of us.
Yes. And it's weird because like I'm sad I wasn't there, but part of me is also glad I wasn't there just because it's so much. And like, I think specifically like the TTRPG community attracts a lot of like introverts and people who don't necessarily like come out of their shell. So it would have been really fascinating to like see everybody. I know I'm not the only one with social anxiety.
I gotta say, I went with a whole lot of people who like have social anxiety, and I was prepared to be like, okay, we're gonna time out. And those people were either like, you know what, I'm just staying in the hotel room tonight, or they just were great and we're fine. It was amazing. Oh, do you all want a really funny? Should I tell a funny,
Absolutely.
Awkward story?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. So, last year at PAX Unplugged, let me set this up. Last year at PAX Unplugged, because of COVID restrictions that were much tighter, once a panel started, they closed the doors and you couldn't go in. That was it. So the first big night, we getting dinner at PAX, trying to finish up like a 4:30, 4 o'clock panel, getting food and then getting back to the main theater by 8:30 is almost impossible. As we discovered. So everyone else had decided to stay in for the night, and I was like, I'm gonna go because it was Motherlands. I'm like, I want to go see Motherlands. So I'm like, hike it. I grab my stuff. I am running through the cold of Philadelphia, and I'm allergic to the cold, y'all. And I rush up, and I get lost, of course, because I couldn't figure that out. And I get there, and one set of doors is closed, and one set of doors is still open because there's main theater and Mothman theater side by side. And I'm like, is it a main? Is it Mothman? I don't know. One door's open, and I'm like going, and I'm just like frazzled because I'm late, and I'm like, oh no, and I don't want the doors to close. And there's 2 people kind of standing slightly off to the left. I was heading towards this door, and one of them this year, one of them is like, well, last year were the doors closed COVID restrictions. This year, the doors closed, but you could still go in. Didn't make that clear. As I'm rushing in, I see two people kind of standing, and one of them is doing that, like, I'm looking at you in a way so you will notice me thing. And I'm like, I'm kind of like still rushing, and I'm like, and then this person holds up something towards me. And you know, at your convention, people are handing you stuff, and I just reactively like grab it, and then I realize he's holding a D&D book towards me. So he's like obviously just pointing with it, right? And I'm like, and I drop it, and he lets go, so it falls to the floor, and I'm like having I'm already, the raccoons in my brain are just already gnawing everything that's not hammered down, right? And so I bend down and I grab it up, and I try to hand it back at the same time as he's trying to hand me one of the PAX Wizards of the Coast pins. And I'm like, and I went through, because I'm a community manager, I went through a community manager class with a gentleman who works for Wizards of the Coast. And so he was like, Kay, it's so good to see you. I'm so excited you're here for the Dragonlance. It was not Dixon. It's their social media manager. But I did get to meet Dixon. Dixon was awesome. And he's like, hey, it's so nice to finally meet you in person. Like, I'm so excited you're here for Dragonlance. And like, you can follow along with the actual play while you read the book. And I'm like, oh, wait. Oh, hi. And it's like, things are clicking in, and like okay, we're like, okay, yes. I'm like, okay, awkward. I'm weird, but that's okay. We're all weird here. It's fine. It's so good to see you. And we're like casually chit-chatting, and he introduces me to his other friend. And right about then, a very tall gentleman with a very long unkempt beard and very long unkempt hair, who is very out of breath, comes up and is like, hi, where did you get the book? And I'm like, because I don't want to out my friend.
Yeah, you can't.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, a place. And he looks down and he's like, oh, yeah, I understand. Because I did a panel, I had a special guest badge. And he's all like, oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense. I could see that you're a special guest, and I'm just no one. I'm just some guy
I'm
who's
a commoner.
here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and so I'm like, I'm just chatting with my friend. And so we kind of do this awkward, and he starts laying on please give me, like, not saying it, but like, they give me a thing,
Yeah.
you know? And I'm like, so I'm like, okay, and then I see them kind of moving towards the door, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, because I don't want to leave them. I don't want to just abandon them with this guy, but I'm also like, I'm so sorry. Josh, I want to get inside before the doors close. And I run in and I sit down, and I'm like, okay, I'm here. I made it. I've got the book. I'm done. This is the Dragonlance. I'm here for Mothership. My friend's outside and just gave me a book. What do?
Oh no.
So, yes, that was a moment. I kind of watched. I got to see, Gabe and Bronze and all these amazing people come out on stage, and then was like, and now over to Mothership. Tick, 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 tick. Peeked outside to make sure my friend wasn't there.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It was my big con fail, and it was on the very first night. So I got it out of the way.
I was gonna say, at least you got it out of the way.
Got it out of the way. And it was a moment of like, okay, the brain raccoons can chew on this, and we'll be fine with everything else. So, but yeah, that moment of like, okay, I made it. I'm in the wrong panel. So, yes.
When that happens.
It happened a number of times. I was trying to go to the Shikar meet and greet, and I knew where they had all been on a panel before. So I was rushing because I had to get this done before I got on my train. And I rushed down to where the panel was. The meet and greet was was upstairs on the other side of the con hall. And I was like, I have to get on a train.
Yikes.
No.
But any super cool things that you picked up, Luna, as we wrap this up? Any super cool things that you picked up from PAX? And anyone else who's hanging out in chat, please shout out if you have a favorite thing that you got.
Let me think.
Trying to see.
Well, I got I got a lot of business cards, which was very nice.
Yes.
Made some fun connections, so that was good. And then I picked up, so this is actually not TTRPG related, and it wasn't even for me, but there was, I don't know if anybody saw him, but in the expo hall, at the very, very back of the expo hall, like literally up against the back wall, there was a guy there who had these kids books that were all about like GMing, essentially learning how to GM. And they were super cute, and the art was really
totally
cute.
TTRPG related.
Well, that was, but what I bought from him was not. Well, not wholly. One of the things that that he was selling, which they were tucked off to the side, and it was like a last minute thing that I noticed, and I was like, I have to get that for my best friend for Christmas, or like I don't know what else I'm gonna get her. And now she has it, so I can, I can talk all about it. But he was is an artist, and he had 2 posters that he had prints of that he was selling, and one of them was a poster that was all of the characters from every Dragon Age game. And so my best friend and I actually met in a Facebook like fan group for Dragon Age. Like that's how we met.
I love
And
those
lo and behold,
stories.
we lived in the same state, and then it was like we started talking on Facebook, and then it was like like, hey, have you ever played D&D? You want to join my home game? And yeah. And Cypher of Tears saying, oh, I know this poster. Yeah. So I bought her a copy of that poster for Christmas, and she was like, oh my God, it's so good. And it's really good. Although it's really funny because I'm looking at it, and he's like, yeah, I've got every character from every game on here except for one. See if you can figure out who it is. And I'm looking at this poster for like a solid 5 minutes, and I was like, nope, there's that person. Nope, there's that person. Nope. And I'm like thinking about all of these. Finally, he tells me who it is that's missing and why. And I was like, I was dying laughing. So the reason was the person that's missing from it was Logain. And his reason was because F that guy.
110%.
So I was like, that's pretty fantastic, actually. Yeah.
That's fair.
So yeah, so that was a very cool thing that I picked up. And then I also picked up, even though I had backed the Kickstarter, I only backed it for the PDF version. So I ended up picking up the hardcover of the Inspirials book. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Cypher of Tears says her favorite thing was I made Cypher a liquid core D20 of Finn from Black Dice Society, because black and purple and silver, that's my,
right.
Of course I love the Finn. Rex Verde said he picked up a 1-deck Galaxy and Good Puppers 2 card games.
Yes.
There were a lot of dog and cat games this year. There were a lot of dog and cat games.
Yeah.
My good friend Cake Tease gave me this.
Oh, yeah.
It is a D20. It's an enamel pin, and it's a spinner.
So you can actually that pin up on my board with all of my pins. I have the same one. I love it.
I play a Solarian, which is like a basically think like Jedi, like a space paladin, who's very like they're covered in tattoos of like stars and astrology stuff. So she was like, "This is perfect for you." And then I got to meet John, and I'm not going to attempt his last name because I'm going to say it wrong, who wrote Astro Mythos, which is it's a 5e compatible module with some of the most gorgeous art I have ever seen, and chatted with him and his incredible stuff. Here's a little look at it for some of y'all. And he actually emailed me and Gray, because I got to meet him with Saucefire, and was like, hey, you talked about maybe helping us market your stuff. And so I'm so excited that I might get a sneak peek at this and maybe help run or be in a game. And I love promoting indies so much. So
yeah.
Lair of the Spider Lord, not for everyone.
Yeah, that would not be for me.
But it is gorgeous.
One of the coolest things that happened, so there was a whole panel about the panel was titled about like can a TTRPG really teach sign language or something like that. So it was basically about the Inspirials game. But one of the people that was on the panel lo and behold, is a teacher at the middle school that I went to. And my niece is currently one of her students. And
Wow.
so it was really cool. So I was going through, like, looking at all the panels that were coming up, and I happened to stumble upon that. And I was like, so I asked my niece at Thanksgiving, I was like, do you know? And I can't remember the woman's name off the top of my head right now, and she was like, oh yeah, she's my improv teacher. I have her every Tuesday and Friday. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. So when I get to the panel, I went up and I introduced myself, and, we talked for a minute, and I said, oh yeah, I said, this is who I am, so-and-so is my niece. She's like, oh my God, I love her. She's such a natural improv student, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, now that I know that she's got family members that play D&D, I'm going to get her into our D&D club. And my niece signed up for the D&D club and joined that Friday.
That's amazing.
Yep. So she just had her first session this past Friday, and apparently it went fantastic. So
that's great.
Yeah.
David, you had something you were going to say, and after that, we probably need to start wrapping up. Typey. David cannot type E and talk E.
Listen, I've been a man my whole life. I can't multitask. I barely got enough brain power to like operate one direction. But I remember, Kay, when you made Cypher's dice. It's a singular. And you'd made a bunch of other ones, and then you were like, "Oh, I made this really, really good one." And so Kay shows it to me, and I'm just like, that's Now, I have a couple of dice from Kay that are top notch. Thank God I didn't get the bean dice. Whew. If I got the bean dice,
I make big bean dice.
Kay and I would have been out in the street fist fighting.
I've got like 4 ready to go. I can just give you one.
Absolutely not.
What I need to do is I need to make one of the big chonk ones out of beans.
Yes, just not for me. For literally anyone else. And something big had happened in Black Dice Society, and I don't remember what. But then you were like, "Oh, this is for Cypher," and I was like, "Oh, sweet." And so there were like a couple of like near misses, and so PAX is happening. I'm watching some of the streams. I really wish PAX had a better, like, a more cohesive place to watch panels on stream, but they'll get there. And so I'm watching Bronze's stream. I'm watching and I'm sending Kay just memes because, like, I'm in bed, my back is busted, and I'm working on some things that we're working on. And then she's like, "Oh, I gave Cypher the die," and I was like, "The really good one," and Kay's like, "The really good one," and I was just like, Now, I wouldn't have taken it for myself because that would be rude, but that was definitely something I was looking forward to hearing about.
I like making dice for people I love. What can I say? Some people do fan art. My fan art is meh, but I can make a cool dice occasionally. But with that, probably rounding out our words of wisdom for PAX, fond memories. Luna, tell us again who you are and where we can find you.
Sure. I am Luna. I am at GamerMomLuna on most of the socials, including all the really weird one-off ones like Mastodon and Hive and whatever else is going on out there. Most commonly you can find me still on Twitter at GamerMomLuna. And you can also check out shadowmain.com, SHADOMAIN.com. And like we said, we post there 5 days a week. And this coming Saturday, you can find me on Mimics and Misfits for our charity stream for World Central Kitchen. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
6:30 Central, right? Or 6:30 Eastern.
6:30 Eastern.
6:30 Eastern.
Yes.
That should be fun.
Should be a great time.
David, who are you and what are you doing here?
Hi, I'm David. I am the gremlin behind all of Kay's nightmare encounters. And this is the chaotic, wholesome show, despite Sauce's attempt to usurp. Um, and every week we talk about TTRPG stuff, how to be a better GM, how to be a better player, all with a focus on intersectionality and inclusivity so that everyone can have a good time.
Or at least most weeks. We are off until
Most
the end of the
weeks.
year
Yes.
because I'm not going to be at my streaming setup. So, sister traveling for Christmas. And I'm Kay. I work in video games by day and do TTRPG stuff every moment I can get outside of that. You can find me here on Tuesdays with David. You can find me Wednesdays. This coming Wednesday is going to be the last episode of the year, or not this coming. The 21st will be the last episode of the year for the Emergency Power podcast. It is a Starfinder actual play where I play my Solarian, who is, if you like disaster queers, they're about as disastrous a queer as you can get. And I love playing someone so different from me. And again, coming up on Thursday, David and I are running the Christmas Cookie Caper, a charity D&D 5e stream, which would have featured Brian, except Herb is on vacation for the rest of the month, and you don't ask people to do things when they're on vacation. So we don't get Herb, but we do get an incredible cast.
Also, Herb absolutely deserves their vacation.
Absolutely deserves the vacation. I already tortured them enough with Godplane, so they deserve that break. Thank you, everyone, so much for coming out today. I just want to shout out that I'm officially at 369 followers. Nice. Thank you, Stephen Joyce, for the resub. Thank you, Herb, for the raid. Thank you to JD for the resub, and thank you all for the follows. Thank you for hanging out and answering questions and chatting. This is the reason I do this. Like, I love hanging out with chat. Talking to people here is great, but chat, y'all throw me curveballs that I'm never prepared for. So thank you all again. We're going to go flip over to the end screen and find a friend to raid. Have a great night. Take care of yourselves. Be excellent to others. Thank you so much, Luna.
Thank you.
See you all soon. Bye.